I remember you. In the mountains.
Hey guys, Tyler here, and we are back with the third episode of our award-winning podcast, In the Mountains. Hit the button. Yeah, there we go.
There it is.
So we are right. You guys didn't get the award.
No, everything
didn't.
goes to your email.
It's back there. Don't look. I promise. Award-winning. But we are back with the third episode. I appreciate you guys spending your evening with us, or day, or morning, whatever time of day you are checking this podcast out. So we have our lovely people as always. Zaft somewhere down there. Yeah. Hey. And of course, Mr. OBS got a significant upgrade. We got Glitch back here. Yes. So if it makes you guys feel any better, this is we've been like messing around for the better part of an hour before we actually hit record. This is the first time I've got to see Glitch as well. So yeah. So no longer Boom Chicken, no longer Mr. OBS, and we are back having some more fun with you guys. And I hope you guys really enjoy this podcast. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And the whole goal of this podcast is going to be, initially was going to be talking about what we liked about BlizzCon, what we didn't. We'll touch about that very briefly because I really want to get into 10.2 and Season 3 and, of course, Amirdrassil, the raid as well. That does start officially tomorrow. Yes. So, we are a guild that raids on Tuesday, Wednesdays. So that means the first week we usually get about half a day of raid for the first day, and then maybe 3/4 the next day. We tune everything and we test the server stability pretty much with most of our yes.
It also means that for like a couple days, like we're like realm first kills on just about everything.
Hey, no, not just realm first. We were like world top 40, top 50 at one point. I'm just saying.
100 parses. Our parses look amazing for the first week, every single week.
And then we go to the next week, and they're like, "Hey, look, he got a 6."
And then they compare us to other people, and honestly, I think that's cheating.
We don't need that.
Yeah, we don't do that.
First day.
I mean, a screenshot does that. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Post it to your Discord. Tell everybody how great you are, and then never go back.
We are world first Ursog. Oh, that first day.
Shh. No.
It's fine.
Were we that high? I think we were like no. There was. I know we're already hitting the tangent button. It's totally fine.
Tangent.
But
Sorry, this is my
there was no. It's fine. There was one raid kill where we were literally like top 10 because for whatever reason, like we raid at 6 p.m. Eastern, and like the servers are right up at 6. We get in there. Don't remember what. Maybe it was Scorpy Bro in actually, now that I think about it, I think it might have been in Nighthold.
Nighthold.
Yeah, Nighthold.
This was definitely Legion at some point.
Yeah, and we go in there. We look at logs afterwards, and then we're like literally like top 10 in the world. I'm like, just retire. We're done.
That's right.
Like, we got it.
You peaked.
It's all downhill from there.
Well,
Oh,
was
geez.
BFA afterwards. So.
And then Shadow. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are the ones who decided to run with a marksman in BFA. You let me, so.
Hey, if I was playing Boomkin for some of it, what's
that is true.
I was a rep paladin for some of that. That was fun.
Oh, but that was like, I like how we picked like the worst classes like DPS wise, and then by the end, like those are the decently high classes. Except
you don't remember when we first started doing Mythic Plus in BFA, we called our team off meta picks.
Yes, we did. Holy crap, that's a blast from the past. Well, speaking of don't forget
don't
that.
knock it. Yeah, don't knock the mystery.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we got like KSM and did some higher keys. Just saying.
We did some fat keys that expect for sure.
And now that just means that we're going to have to do it this expansion as well,
But
which
now-
we'll talk about here in a little bit. We'll get off the tangent, I promise.
Yeah.
Speaking
What
of
are we
fat keys
what are we
we're
talking
doing
about
this season,
Yeah.
Right. Say the thing.
It's the
Do it.
segue.
Go.
Say the thing. Say the thing.
But we are going to go ahead and talk about just our thoughts on BlizzCon here, just for a few minutes. Basically, what you guys think about 3 expansion, at least name drops all at once. It sounds like 11.0 is getting some nice little fleshed out stuff going on, particularly with those allied races that I know that Zaft is very excited for.
I mentioned this. I don't know if it was last. I mentioned this previously that Earthen. As soon as Earthen comes out, as soon as I am able to switch Zaft over from a Tauren to an Earthen, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Zaft started off as a dwarf back in classic World of Warcraft, switched to Tauren in Cataclysm, and just because I was like, I want to be on the Horde, but I don't want to be a Blood Elf. And then now it's like I have the chance. I have the chance to be a dwarf again.
Well, the nice thing is that you don't lose any of your horde progression either, because they can be horde as well.
Exactly.
Yep.
And that's the
Like,
main thing.
because so for me, like, there's so many alliance races that I would enjoy playing. Like, I'll be honest, I'd like to play a Mechanome. Like, I've got the gear, I've got the Mog and everything, but the fact that I would have to lose so much
Yeah.
of my progress on horde, it's just not worth it.
And
So
I've talked with guildmates about it, and they're like, well, you can just be a dwarf or be a dark iron because you can raid with us. And I was like, it's not
yeah,
one. The
but
achievements, it's not the same. I won't be able to queue up with you guys for stuff. It's not. I get to be a horde dwarf, and that's important
so
to
we
me.
can do those token like 4 uh, BGs every expansion. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Uh, but so one of the other things that they added with this, or they've talked about at least, is going to be the fact that we're going to get more expansions, and they released these at not 3 at a time, but gave us information on 3 at a time, which you guys kind of talked about in what episode 1. How I understand, like, there's going to be it's 3-3-3-1-3, which
Mm.
is kind of weird since Dragonflight is kind of like the not a reset button, but it's definitely
A jumping off point, I would say.
yeah, definitely it's a tonal shift, and then how they're going to attack, if you will, how they put out expansions. So I guess initially, what did you guys think about BlizzCon? Just at a very basic level, did you guys like the Classic Plus that we kind of saw? Did you like the thoughts of, say, hey, this is the next 3 expansions. They're going to have a much better linear story throughout because we're doing them and writing them together with an end goal. What do you guys think about that? I'll start with Zaft.
Yeah. I don't I This BlizzCon I was really excited about. I saw a lot of good stuff for the future. As far as classic, because we had talked about classic like jumping off right at the beginning of our first episode. Um, so as far as classic, I'm excited that it wasn't just Cataclysm Classic. That was my main thing. I was like, if they just came out with Cataclysm Classic, I'll be disappointed. And they didn't. They have Classic Plus coming out, which I think is exciting. I don't know how it's gonna go over. I don't know how the community seems. I don't. They seem not reluctant, but like weary of where it's going. Like I think that they like that it's like they're switching stuff up with like new abilities and stuff. Um, but I think they're leery of where it's headed. That it'll be a complete departure from, or it'll start a complete departure. But it's Season of Discovery. So I like that. Um, And then as far as like the expansions, I was thinking about that 3 expansion structure, and I don't necessarily think that starting with the War Within, I don't necessarily think that expansion structure might depart because the final one it's like Twilight something, right? Something Twilight.
The Last Titan.
The Last Titan. Um, we don't know if it's gonna be like, okay, we have Dragonflight, War Within, the other one, and that'll be a set, and then the Last Titan will be almost like the jumping off point for a new era. Because they could structure it like that. Just because they, brought forth 3, it doesn't necessarily mean that like those 3 are gonna be brackets.
Mm.
And but I think this is my my pitch for why I think that they did it this way, that just based on what was shown on War Within, um, I'm not shitting on it at all, not like dissing on like the expansion at all because there's not a lot to know about it, but there's not a lot to know about it. Like there wasn't like a great amount of information. I feel like at the beginning of something like Shadowlands or even the beginning of like Dragonflight, it was like cool. This is like where we're going, or this is the tone that we're doing. This feels like something. Whereas like the War Within feels like I have more questions. Um, that are what are we doing? Where are we going? Are we like is this new continent material? Is this new planet material? Where are we headed? I feel like I'm left a little in the dark. And I think because of that, and I think because they knew that was going to happen, they were like, "Don't worry, we already have the next two lined up. Boom, here they are. You don't have to sit there and be like, War Within looks like nothing, because it's like, bro, we already got the next
Yeah.
two. We already got the sequels all set up. So I think that they did it for that purpose, and that made me more hyped for War Within, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like they did that on purpose, right? Like not as the sequence style thing. I think they did it because there are just more questions in the story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's just things that we're gonna find out that nobody knows. Which, by the way, a lot of people are kind of memeing on the fact that we're hearing a voice from inside the planet, and everybody's like, "Who is it?" And Magni's like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, you know who it is.
Champion.
But I feel like also, a part of that is also just, if I was Thrall and I was listening to voices from the planet, I would also not just be like, "Oh yeah, it's Azeroth, let's go."
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
E-
When
especially,
have the whispers ever,
yeah, that's never
yeah,
been a good
especially with our
thing.
track
Well,
history of
yeah.
listening to voices in the planet,
Yeah.
Also,
him
About
being
that.
him being the new or him being the original pseudo aspect of Earth in
also,
Cataclysm.
for all we know, we'll get down there and it will be Azeroth, and Azeroth will be like, "Hey, you guys took a lot of my blood. What are we gonna do
Give it
about that?"
give it back.
What are we gonna do
Where's
about
my
that?
where's my
You
blood?
just used the neck. I'm sorry.
I tell you, there's a lot of it in there. It's level 100.
Trust me,
Ooh,
I
another-
farmed
I'm
it.
s- I'm still getting Azerite power for.
That's right.
Yeah, that I mean, I I'm excited from just a storyline, like writing perspective.
Yeah.
I don't care if the next the next expansion feels like the setup expansion where they're just laying the bricks, laying the foundation. If that's the case, to have a good storyline to where you don't have like you have to deal with how the this last expansion ended. Now you have to try to figure out and make it work without having necessarily like we're doing this, then this, then this, then this. There's a lot of loose ends that never get tied up, and that's one of the last several expansions. Like lol, what sword, and then you have the lantern from Greymane. Like what's going on with that, and all this stuff that has not been talked to, like where's Nathanos, is he doing anything, is he just walking the dog, like what's going on here, like it's a major player and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them at all. And I'm excited from the writing point of view, for there's going to have a clear beginning
Mhm.
where it's going to be whatever ends with the Farak fight and sets up some sort of meme season 4, and then you're going to have the start of 11.0 with War Within, and then you're eventually going to have 13.0 way down the road, and you're going to have a clear end. And from just somebody who enjoys the lore, which has been kind of ripped up a lot within the last several expansions.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
that's one of the big gripes. I would like to see just a better, clearer story, and I think this is a great way to do it. And in a way, it's going to be there to give us confidence. Like, hey, they have to, like if they're going to say these are the expansions, they have to have some sort of idea what's going to happen
Yeah,
in these
for sure.
expansions. And it's not just going to be a rehash of we'll put this person's back all of a sudden type thing. And I'm just really excited about that. And I I can't wait to see what they mean by the last Titan. Is it going to be Azeroth? Are the Titans going to come back? Are we going to deal with the Titans in 11.0 at some point? We probably will in some form or fashion. But the fact that there's a lot of questions out there, obviously there's not a ton of information because it's very, very, very early on. But I am the eternal optimist, so I'm always excited for something new. And yeah, dwarves, earthen, always a good thing.
Super stoked about the dwarves. So stoked. No, I think it'll be good. Yeah, oh my god, man.
That
Glitch
was the
like
first-
told like he was so ready to tell me too when they first came out.
Yeah,
He
I
was like how
ready.
much how much have you heard from BlizzCon? And I was like, honestly, not that much. I haven't been like looking into it. And he was like, have you heard? And I don't remember what you said to me. He's like, I'm gonna try and not spoil it for you, but spoil it for you. And
Just say it.
and you were just
I don't
like,
remember
and
what I said.
you said you were like, can we expect Zaft to be
yeah.
changing races anytime soon?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, maybe, because I heard about the
Go
Earthen,
on.
but I had no more context than that. And I was like, maybe. I was like, is there something I'm missing about the new race? And he was like, absolutely, send me a link and everything.
Check this out.
I was like, and then like 5 minutes later, I was like, absolutely,
Yep.
yes, yep,
That's,
you bet.
That's
that's
one
a
of the-
thing that I am
You bet.
doing.
That was one of the first things I thought when watching the review. I was like, I gotta talk to Zaft about this as
So
soon as
excited.
possible.
It is interesting that they are going to be allied races. I think that's exactly the right way to do it. But they did say not long ago that they probably weren't going to be doing as many allied races. So I wonder if we're going to, I'm not going to say that they're going to hit a quota, but I wonder if that will allow us to have like one allied race that has to do with that expansion.
yeah,
I think that would be kind of cool.
Yep.
And then, I mean, they've already been adding class and race, just more options.
Combinations, yeah.
Yeah, those combos. And then now you bring in a couple of new, so you have the Drakthir this expansion, Earthen next expansion. Even if they don't bring in new classes, like it'll just be something different. And I for one am always more options is always, in my opinion, a pretty good thing. At least with character creation.
More options.
Do you think they'll expand
Quality options.
the
Yeah,
last
yeah.
yeah, right. The last three are Shaman, Paladin, and Druid that aren't for everyone, right?
Is it only well aside from DH and Evoker, right?
Yeah.
Can Tauren be warlocks?
You can
They
now.
can now. Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't. That was the one I was thinking of. I've never seen a Tauren warlock, so.
I don't
That's
think
true.
I have either.
Oh,
Better
that's
go
something.
make
It's
one.
really recent though. It's really recent, and I mean, people barely got through the Tauren rogues
That's true. Yeah.
unscathed. So
Those are
Yeah.
more meme characters than anything else. Having a Tauren Warlock, it's like, that's kind of goofy, but like, not that.
You want to
goofy.
play it? You want to play it?
Exactly.
War Stomp
Yeah.
OP?
yeah, tell me about it. That's what they needed. More CC.
No. Can you imagine everybody that's
More
back
done.
back in like BC Wrath? You run up there on your Tauren Warlock. You use your War Stomp and then start Hellfire, and just everything just melts. I'm just saying it
sapphire everything
works.
around
More
you.
stomp
Yep.
into Hellfire.
It
That's
works.
the combo. That's it.
That's
You
it.
win.
It's all over.
If you would
Speaking
have
of
thought about
ogres-
that 10 years ago, you would have never thought that was a possibility.
So
And
you-
maybe we get ogres. You are absolutely right.
I was gonna ask. So
I've been
if,
waiting.
if we think the allied races are coming with each of these new expansions, are we expecting ogres? Are we expecting just races, or are we expecting like maybe a new class as well?
2 sets of elves.
Who
Yeah.
One per expansion.
Mm.
Blood Night Elves.
If it happens, you can reference this and blame me.
That's
The-
right.
The official High Elves are coming to World of War.
They're bringing Naga.
I know one person who's all for that.
Naga. Cool.
Yeah. And
Nerf would be so pumped.
uh,
It'd be like 2 expansions later, and he'd be like, "I told you it would happen
I'm-
eventually. They had to do it."
There's
I'm
a lot
still-
of people. Go ahead, Zeph.
I was gonna say I'm hoping that we hit another support class within the next 3 expansions. And it's not just Oglu.
I think there's none planned at the moment.
I don't think so
I think
either.
They
but
I think they said that, but
Yeah, they
I
did.
think
Hearing-
plans can change.
I'm hearing more whispers from the community of tinkers and bards. Tinkers and
Yes,
bards and
tinker,
tinkers and
please.
bards.
Come on,
I
do
mean,
it. Let me
fine
make
by
a
me.
Mechanome tinker and be horde.
A dwarf bard.
Ooh, that
I'd
would be
really
fun.
happy with that.
I mean,
A stone form, an earthen bard.
that would be cool. All I can think of is Bard from League, but even then, just take Bard from League, put him into WoW, call it a day.
Yeah.
Music can heal the soul. Done.
Okay.
There you go. That's the pitch. So that's kind of our thoughts on BlizzCon. Very, very brief. We'll probably go into a little bit more
It's
in
time
depth
to
at
come
some
home.
point. So, slight tangent, but still about BlizzCon. So my friend Colton was also, who, by the way, has come back to the game. It's been 10 years since he played, or just under 10 years. Warlords of Draenor early on. And yes, definitely. I never thought that he would be back. We've been playing some classic and stuff as he's getting his feet wet again with leveling. But that was the thing he mentioned the most. He was like, so I was at work when BlizzCon was happening. So I wasn't watching live, but I was pausing it every time I had a time. So I was about 25 minutes behind the actual presentation. So Chris Metzen is out there just talking, just getting started. And of course, I'm like, I want to watch this in an entirety all at once. So I wait until after work. And Colton is messaging me, and I told him, like, hey, by the way, I'm not watching it, no spoilers. He goes, okay, no spoilers, but this dude is telling me to come home a lot. And so then he was sharing all this stuff about people were going on. They're like, they keep talking about home. Are we going to have player housing? And so my friend Colton plays a lot of old school RuneScape, and he's like, is player housing coming and all this other stuff? And I'm like, don't you go to your garrison? I go there every day.
No.
He's like, I know.
Jeez, that's an insult.
I do. I actually log out there every day, so I don't know what's wrong with me.
Pass.
Yeah, fine. Anyway, enough of the terrible habits that I still have for like 10 years at this point. But so moving away from future, and let's go ahead and talk about the now, I guess. Ooh, that's a cool segue. Maybe I should write that one down. Anyway, so we have 10.2. Say what again?
I'd remember to do that for next time. Yeah.
Write that down. Write that down.
Write that down. Go on.
But we do have 10.2 that officially started as of, by the way, as of recording, this is Monday night. So for us here in the U.S., our servers and fun times officially will open up the raid.
The first
tomorrow.
boss. The login
Yes,
boss.
the login screen boss. I still remember when I first came back when Drexit reformed, I was over on Illidan, and I'm trying to log in to Illidan servers while you guys are starting the raid, and it took me like 3 hours to get in. Good times. Good times. It won't ever be that bad again. But we did have all of the new. First off, the new zone, which was the Emerald Dream, officially. Not the Emerald Nightmare, none of that fun stuff. We do have the Dream, and I really enjoyed the zone. We'll kind of talk about it here in a second. But you have the new quest lines, and then comes with it with like the Super Blooms, which was a very interesting little community event that happens every hour, if you guys are unfamiliar. And then, for example, I am always near and dear to my heart is the tames, the hunter tames. I like to make videos on it. I like to see what's new. Even as a marksman hunter who doesn't really use a pet. Anyway, there was a lot of good ones, and got druid form, so that'll be good for Glitch. You know, if he does decide to play a druid. By the way, that's the question. Well, before we end the stream or I'm going to do that a lot. Not stream. It's just we're quite a streaming. We're recording. Whatever. Episode. There we go. Podcast. I'll get this right eventually. But we're gonna figure out. And we need your guys' help. What's Glitch going to play? Is he going to play his AUG?
Vote now on your phones.
Yeah, vote now. It'd be like a Taboo Tuesday thing for all you WWE people. But we'll see if he's going to be playing his Guardian Druid or his AUG Evoker. We'll just see which one wins. Be sure and put in your vote, and data rates may apply.
Yeah,
just so you know.
They will apply. We have to.
Oh, jeez. You know, I always wondered about that. I'm like, so how much are they going to charge me? It's like, at least 99 cents. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. No wonder my
So-
dad wouldn't let me have a phone.
I don't want
I was that impulsive kid that would be like, 99 cents? I got that. Yeah. And then it's
Yeah,
like
easy.
$50 later. Yeah. Oh, all right. Tangent done. Okay, that was the tangent for this section. But I guess I'll go ahead and talk to you guys. What do you guys think about the zone itself? I personally think the bigger zone was definitely that the latest expansion has brought was a great thing for the Emerald Dream, so they could actually have fun with it. And that tree is freaking huge in the middle. I keep bonking my head on it.
It's massive. Um, I'm enjoying it so much so that I'm pretty done. So much that I still have like a bunch of mounts to get, but I'm like maxed out on flight stones. I'm maxed out on crests. Like I've maxed out on everything. I get like 5 reputation from the little seed pods now. I'm just doing them to help out. I have a
So
gigantic seed for tomorrow, like for next week that we could do.
So Zaft is going to be that guy in 2 weeks. I really enjoyed 10.2, but there wasn't much
There's
content.
nothing else to do.
There's nothing to do. Why do I pay for
I'm
this?
raising the login every day.
It's but I've already run into the issue, and I asked Glitch about it. We were like flying around doing stuff, and I was like, "Am I being stupid? Shouldn't I be doing stuff like on an alt in this zone?" And he was like, "Do you want to play an alt?" And I was like, "No, I want to play Zaft. I want to just play my paladin." He's like, "And you're not doing a stupid thing. You're fine."
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing was getting on alts and stuff. Mainly
But
because I don't know what I'm playing. But you know, that's besides the point.
But I was having fun. I was like, I think a lot of it is like me like trying to like figure out, okay, like what, like if I do this, does this increase? Am I still able to get a mount if I keep doing this? And like I haven't even gotten all the mounts. There's a bunch. I've been really unlucky with seeds. The only thing that's giving me mounts is completing stuff, getting dream essence, and then trading that in for like automatic, like, oh, you get to buy a mount, and that's it. I've gotten like 1 mount from, no, 2 from the actual seed pods, and one of them can only be got from the seed pods.
I'm
Cool.
really not. I'm not excited to when Simple Armory updates because you're gonna have a crap ton over me now.
I,
Don't. I checked it already. Don't bother.
I've,
That's fun.
my count says that I'm at like 791 right now. But you'll catch up super quick in like the course of like
You
you're,
say that. I'm
you're
still gonna be
there.
killing Breeze Biter in 3 expansions.
Oh no.
I'm
Not
up to
my
100.
fault.
I'm up to
Not my fault. You
189.
tricked me out of that one. You tricked me.
That's my own fault, and that's
Get
fine.
boozled.
Yep.
Bamboozled. Speckledorfed.
Who actually got bamboozled? Was it me or you?
Okay. You, you Uno reversed yourself.
I
That is
honestly
true.
thought I would have. I honestly thought I would have got it by now.
So, yeah, honestly.
You know, tangent. You know who's on a insane hot streak right now? Hurtman. Shout outs to Hurtman if you're listening to this.
For
Hurtman
what?
has
For
gotten
mounts?
for mounts. Hurtman has gotten a Quantum Courser. He's gotten a Krog. He's gotten
That's
2
right.
seed mounts. The dude is hot streaking right now.
He did get the Krog.
Got
and
the
he
Krog.
got the
He got a Courser.
Oh
I didn't know he got a
wait,
Corsair.
like the Krog?
Yeah.
The Underrock
Like
Krog.
yeah. We
Wow.
did we did like a 15 or something, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were just getting people keys for next week, like just put a key in, get something for next week, and
Mhm.
yeah, and Glitch like called it from downtown too. Like we like played. He was like, yeah, I think you called the wrong person. You were like, "Grats,
Yeah, I
Necro
did.
on the Krog," and yeah, and I went to Hurtman. Yeah.
That was me second guessing too. In my brain, I was like, Herman. No, Necro.
Necro.
Should have gone with the first one. Oh well.
That
Can't all
reminds me.
games.
I still have that first week of Aberrus. You called that somebody was the
Jaru.
Jaroon would drop, and sure enough, and we saw it one other time.
One other time with nobody that needed it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I needed it.
Hunter weapon.
It helped me do the Mage
Tower.
Tower, so there we go, win.
Win.
So what did you guys think of them giving us like a decent amount of the quest line to start off? Oh, and also I should say they gave you all of like the story quest line, and then they gave you all the little quests instead of being like, here's your normal quest line, and here's 50,000 other quests that are going around the zone while you're trying to do those. I personally appreciated that.
I appreciated that so hard. I don't know if you remember this glitch, but I was like freaking out in Zaralite Caverns, like flying from like quest to quest and being like, I turned in a quest and then I got like 3 more quests, and I legitimately was at my computer and I was like, glitch, I keep getting quests. I was like, what is going on? I was like, I didn't know if I was like way too high or like it was probably that, but like I felt like they were never ending. I felt like I just kept getting more quests. I was freaking out. I was bugging.
It was pretty bad, and I'm someone like you, and I'm assuming all 3 of us will do all the quests at some point. We'll do them all.
We got some cool ones coming up too. Just wait.
Yes, from what I've spoiled myself just a little bit, I'm excited. There are questions that I asked Glitch yesterday, so I'm like, so is this actually a thing? Oh yeah,
it is.
So
I don't know the extent, but it is.
Oh, and speaking of that, Nerf messaged me. He goes, "We need to do these quests together." Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do
like
it.
a good time. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. But I appreciate.
Right. And then I was like shouting, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, technical difficulties. So you guys won't get to hear it, but apparently I had some sort of technical difficulty. We had to cut the tapes, check the footage, and we're back.
I gotta stop doing acid. I don't know.
Hey, I told you to not do your edibles until we're done.
I didn't.
That's the reward.
Come on.
I didn't take him.
Yeah, it's it.
You ratted yourself out. But apparently I was screaming for like 10 seconds there. So
you're excited.
I'm excited for the fact that we don't have to worry about the little side quests until after the main quests are done. I mean, don't hate a guy for it, but I do hope that they continue to do that, because we were kind of talking while we were trying to figure our lives out here just like a minute ago. Zareth Mortis was terrible at that, and like Glitch said, where they would have you go way the heck out there, and then they go, okay, now you go see Paco Pac and his buddies again, and then it was just a bunch of like busy work for busy work's sake, and it just was not fun. And that zone was not nearly as fun to look at as Emerald Dream is so far. So that I can appreciate, and I would like to see more of that.
Did we have flying right away for Zareth Mortis too?
We didn't. Oh, we didn't.
So we were just running.
You had to run around.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember like as soon as you walked into the zone, and there was that one like ball, and you had to jump up to get to the treasure at the top, and so many people were dying. Like, could you get all the way up there? Yeah. Holy crap! Or then you get all the way up there, and then it would disappear, because it had the rep item. So what people didn't realize was that it would disappear, and then like a minute later it would respawn.
Yeah.
And so those people would jump off if they made it, and then like go do something else, and then try it again and try to kill themselves again. And can we just all agree that Zareth Mortis wasn't very fun?
It was alright.
Not high on the priority list.
That's all I got.
A lot of
you're like, that's a lot of brain power to talk about Shadowlands, and I just don't want to do that right now.
The powers. The powers are fun.
And,
I guess the zone had cool areas in certain areas. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
There's some. I like the hunter pet tames, which I mean, I have some good. Yes, but
hunter pet tames over in the
these freaking write themselves. I didn't even think about that.
Get better at these segues.
Maybe I'm better at this podcasting thing than I thought. Anyway, speaking of hunter tames, we need the Tim Allen sound effect. We need to get somebody to get on that.
Greeley, I saw a very interesting video recently about some hunter pet tames that you can get in the new patch.
Where would you have seen that?
I don't know. Some YouTuber, Mr. Eggplant. I don't know. I think he's pretty good hunter. You should check him out.
No, you know what? I think I might. Yeah, they're always down there. Be sure and check out the Drust video as well as the Soul Rocka if you guys would like to check that out.
Anyway.
Plug his channel on his channel.
Yeah, why not?
I
We're
mean,
here.
my channel is
Already here.
sponsoring my
You're
channel, so
already
I'm
here.
just saying.
We're already here.
Right.
And then when we eventually get this on
Like and
Spotify.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Do it.
Watch Spotify will be like, we have a problem. It says you have somebody sponsoring your video about 50 minutes in. I'll be like, no, that was
That's me.
a joke. That was a
Sponsoring
joke.
my own video. That's me.
Yeah, pretty
That's right.
much. But yes, you are absolutely correct. Right?
I've been
Correct.
before.
You are right.
Yes, I both of those things. There are some really amazing pets, and I am kind of sad that Marksman doesn't use one very often. The Drust was a way out of left field pet tame I would have not thought was going to be a thing. Works
neither.
perfectly. Does take
That is
so
crazy.
yeah. So I don't do a lot of. I try to keep spoiler free on PTR. I do like my damage stuff, but I try to stay very out of the loop for a reason. And I don't think that was very like fleshed out in the PTR from what I'm talking with people.
No, it
So I appreciate them like here's a little a little breadcrumb and go figure it out. And obviously people figure it out fairly quickly. But I love the dressed. I love that they're not spirit beasts. They could very easily be at least an exotic pet where they're beast mastery only. And I would be like, yeah, that makes sense. So I appreciate them not doing that. But there are two exotic pets, not a beast mastery hunter, but Sol Raka, which is the daughter of Kimball, the Loa. I don't remember what Loa Kimball is. Do you guys remember?
You
For
think I
BFA?
would?
Yeah. But there's a large quest line chain.
Low off stretches.
Yes. There we go. Of belly rubs.
Yep, that's it.
But it's basically the exact model. Absolutely beautiful. I say it all the time in my videos, but absolutely beautiful. Did such an amazing job. And then I don't even know the Flame Owl or Somnow's name. I haven't figured that one out yet. But once the community, yes. But once the community figures out how to get the item to allow you to tame, all bets are off. I'm 100% getting one of those, and I'll play some Beast Mastery for a couple of keys or something.
It's gotta be a tendril drop, right? Something like that.
Well, so
Something
the
related.
flavor text of the item name drops the mount that you get from killing Farok on Mythic. So I still think that would be a huge disservice to have that you required to kill Mythic. I think that's dumb. I think if they want you to kill Farok, fine, which that would allow everybody to be able to do it through LFR and all that stuff. So that's my goal, or my hopes at least. I already
know my poor fire flight somnowl form is tied behind the mount. So
yeah, you have. And the worst thing is, I believe you have to actually get the mount. It's not like you kill him. You actually have to get the mount, which I think is dog water, personally. But,
so, if you're one of those cutting-edge guilds that eventually gets to kill the boss, and you get a couple mounts,
yeah.
First off, get this guy in there. Yeah. I don't know where you're at after the edit. Get this guy in there. If you know. Maybe.
There we go.
But yeah, maybe you don't get the mount, and if just whatever, you kill it super late in the patch or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a druid and you wanted that form and you didn't get the mount, tough.
How bad would that feel?
Super
Your guild
bad.
works all tier long. You risk falling apart as a guild like so many guilds do anymore. You get up there, you get Farok down 2 weeks before faded raids come out. Okay, great guys. Now we get 2 mounts each. There's 20 people, only 6 of them. Like, how bad was that feel to be like, well, I guess we have to prioritize the druid. How would it feel to be somebody who wasn't the druid?
Yeah,
or then, all your buddies, like us 3 here are killing Mythic Farok. And even though I want the mount so badly, and I know Zaft as well, I think that mount would not be just a +1 for us. That's an awesome looking mount. But how bad would we feel to say that one of these big things that Glitch wants, he can't get because he did the stuff, he did the thing, but didn't get the thing.
Yeah.
Like that sucks. I'm hoping that they'll temper expectations to make people not have to kill mythic end expansion boss, but you know.
I hope so. I mean, I understand that those of us that won't kill it this patch will eventually maybe get them out. Like it's a better than nothing chance, to eventually
Yeah.
get it. Sure, I get that, but having stuff tied behind it and stuff that it doesn't really like. When have druids gotten a form for killing a final boss or anything? That specific, right? Like it doesn't have to be tied to it. I understand it's cool. I understand it's a big reward to. Oh, congratulations, you killed the boss. The highest difficulty. It's the end boss. Here you go. But I don't know. Isn't there enough of that? Maybe not. I'm not a mythic.
Like the mount itself.
Mount itself.
Yeah.
There's a title for the really cutting edge people. The loot. That is a driving force. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think for a druid flight form, I think it should be just a little bit more accessible now.
Just a little. I'm not saying like give it away for free if you don't want to. Fine.
Yeah.
Just a little. I don't know.
If
But
anything,
I'm obviously biased.
yeah, but no. Like at the same time, like
we aren't, and we're like, absolutely.
You should have this thing where even if they treated it, I'm not gonna say to treat it like they did the Drake customization from Aberrus, because I didn't like it. We saw 2 the entire time, and we killed Sarkareth often.
2 versus our, I believe it was 7 or 8 Razageth drops.
There were some weeks where we were killing him twice on heroic and normal.
Yeah, and that's frustrating. Like, I know it's 100% chance on Mythic, and that's fine. But like, I believe so because people sell it. Yeah.
Sure.
But like, it shouldn't be like a 1%. Like
Yeah.
I think what should happen, and of course people would stack the deck, but 1 drops a kill. Like 1 Razageth, look, boom, there you go. And then like one I don't even know what it's supposed to be. It was Kazara, right? It was her look, but I think it was.
It is.
So like I think 1 should drop, for your group, and eventually, if you're killing the content, even if it's on normal, you eventually get 1. I don't know.
I mean,
it's not even just a mount; it's just a look,
I mean, I've held on to this belief since for a long time. That kind of stuff should just have its own little bad luck protection in it. They've already shown that they can do it for specific personal loot items, like the claw for evokers. They've shown that they can do it. Why not do it? Why not do it for cosmetic stuff? Yeah, 1 claw. Or 2. I guess 2 technically.
It's okay. I've looked at the sims.
How does it sim?
The moment if I'm playing log, the moment I can get a normal, what is it called, a cache? I think the axe that has the proc on it. Don't matter.
That sucks.
Really? That
sucks.
It's something along those lines. It's because the proc is really good, right? And the iLvL is, when paired with an offhand, is about just enough. And then that means that any upgrade past that, it doesn't matter. It's over.
Well, so I can only compare it to the legendary bow from Sylvanas. How it came out in the 2nd tier, so there were still 2 tiers after that, counting the faded stuff.
It stayed strong.
But like it stayed strong for a while, and that sucks.
Now,
that you could be like, you did this thing, you got it, and then you're going to replace it so easily.
Keep in mind, I think it's based on like personal damage, but I also think most of the sims that are taking it into consideration for AUG are trying to take other people's like damage increase with your buffs into that consideration. I think I'm not a sim wizard.
Let me quickly look up the last like tank weapon and how viable that was. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So Thunder Fury lasted for an entire expansion afterwards. So that was great. I don't know.
Why do you want that curse? I don't have a claw.
I just want a shield. I just want a legendary shield.
Do you know how bad it feels?
All right. Okay.
I do know how bad it feels.
This is our new tangent. If we are building a legendary shield, Zaft, what attributes make it legendary for you? What does it need to do?
All right. What does it need to do? All right. So it needs to have some sort of like I need to be able to like have some sort of like defensive buff that is going to apply to the whole raid. Ideally, and I don't, and this isn't exactly what it needs to do, but if it could do something like the Aegis from Halls
I
of
was just
Valor,
thinking that.
that would be the raddest shit in the world. That would be I would feel like the coolest tank in the world if I could just be like, all right, guys, shield going down, and I just a Reinhardt freaking giant shield pops up. Everybody stands behind me and takes like 60% less damage, or there's just like everybody gets an Omega like absorb on them just for being behind me. Like that just feels awesome.
Yeah,
That
I
that
think that would work.
personally.
And then whenever you don't, put it up fast enough, or you drop it too early, and then the Hellfire kills us, it'll be great.
Yeah,
It'll be
it'll be
it'll
funny.
be exactly like the encounter.
It'll be hilarious. Yeah.
Did you have an ability like that, or used to have an ability like that?
I did used to have an ability like that, yeah.
Aegis of Light or something.
Yep. I
Did I nail it?
I think that's exactly what it was. Yeah. It was. Now I'm gonna. Sorry, I'm gonna go on my own
I
little
took it.
tangent journey right now.
I took a guess because for paladin abilities, it's either Aegis, Light, Bastion, Kings, or
Yeah,
Holy.
yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
if you do like Holy Bastion of Aegis Kings, that's an
Yeah,
ability
Crusader.
somewhere.
There you go.
I get them all.
Somebody's used it. Maybe not the player, but like Benedictus in Stormwind Cathedral, he had that ability.
And for
It's pretty
me as a
silly
hunter,
now.
it's just shot, 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 shot.
Everybody!
Yep,
This
that's
is
it.
the exact balance. Aegis of Light was a 3-minute cooldown.
Wow.
Channels an Aegis of Light that protects you and all allies within 10 yards behind you for 6 seconds, reducing all damage taken by 20%. That's impressive that you pulled that because it's like Aegis of Light is like an actual talent now that does other things.
You know why I
Or,
remember
or
that?
an actual ability that does. What?
You know why I remember that?
Because I was using it in BFA.
Zakul. We used that in Zakul.
Oh, that's right.
A lot.
Did
To
we?
drive-
We
Yeah,
did.
Yes, we did.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh, I've blocked the cool out of my mind.
And I felt cool when I got to use it. That was a very specific ability. It's like being able to use Final Stand. I'm like, this is a cool paladin. This is a paladin ability. It feels paladin. Feels good. Feels like a paladin tank.
So how do you feel when the shaman healers are also going to be running with that though?
Listen, if
Aegis of
that would be
Earth.
that would be even cool. I'm gonna try and find there's like a glyph of not a glyph, a gif of like people like stacking shields in front. Honestly, like
Shields on shields on shields on
yeah,
shields.
I think that would just be cool if just like the firestorm's coming down and I'm like, guys, it's not on cooldown. And freaking Rinche just like leaps over me and it's just like, don't worry, and he just lays
I mean,
down.
he
an
already does that
Arcane
to us
shield.
half the time anyway.
Yeah,
That's true.
throws down
Except
a
when I get
totem.
one shot by those heads.
It's gonna.
Can't,
Nani?
can't
Would be
splash
awesome.
water on that one. I'm sorry.
I didn't even think about like oh yeah, like shamans can get it. Like that's
Hmm.
even cooler.
Stop being so inclusive.
What do warriors get? Aegis of Steel.
Aegis of Steel, the Aegis of Steel.
They just make like a steel dome.
Yeah, conk, 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 conk.
That's right.
That
Tank
would be
up.
good.
You played You played Heroes of the Storm, right?
Yeah.
You remember Blaze's ultimate where he builds
Oh,
a
yeah,
bunker,
yeah, yeah.
Jump, jump, jump,
Yeah,
jump, jumps into it.
I'd be okay with that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like a shield would be cool if they implement it correctly.
I
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I understand that your reluctance to do it because you see it as a curse because it's a curse. And I
Because
get
it
that.
is. Because we're
but
gonna have 4 two-handed wielders being miserable here in just 1 week.
But also, we talked about this a little bit. We don't know if it's necessarily a two-hander. We just know who's using it.
That is
You know?
my cooked take.
Yeah. Which brings us right to Amirdrassil.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
On
that raid.
Oh, wow, yeah, the freaking segues, the segues.
They just keep coming.
Yes. So okay, well, speaking of the new raid, we do have the new raid that officially drops tomorrow. And Amirdrassil, I'm trying to remember how to say it correctly. I think I'm getting better at it. So I'm always excited for a new tier. I always like new content, and Emerald Dream has been a big plus for me so far. I haven't played it a ton, but I'm hoping that we continue to see that in the raid as well. And I haven't done too much. I've seen each fight, very basic. Each fight, I know the mechanics, but I have my personal favorite fight. I will save my personal one till the end, though. If you guys wanna, what do you guys think? Are you properly informed, raid leader?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
feel like I am for a fair amount of fights. Obviously, Fire Act is the exception. I mean, I've looked at the Dungeon Journal. I can kind of see where the fight's headed.
Yeah.
And looking at other people's, guesses into where it's headed helps too. If I had to pick a couple of fights, well, not a couple. I choose to pick a couple of fights that I'm excited for. One of them is mainly for spectacle, and the other one is because I think it'll be a really good encounter. So I think Volcaros is gonna feel just cool. If you've looked at Volcaros's fight, I think it's just gonna feel cool to be in that arena with the lava, and there's a gigantic snake in the middle. And if you think of all the bosses like that are just static in the center, and have like a lot of design around them, some of them end up feeling cool. Like the guy at the end of the bridge in Nighthawk comes to mind. That just feels like a cool fight.
Yeah.
Croesus, yeah. So I feel like Volcaros is gonna feel really cool. We're in there, we're fighting him, and then we have to split up, and we have like the tail slamming and lava going everywhere, and it'll culminate in that final stand where we're surrounded by lava, just like go, get him. I feel like that's gonna feel good. It's not gonna be a terribly mechanically intensive fight, but I feel like it'll just the spectacle alone and just the feel of the fight. I feel is gonna be good. I'm looking forward to that one as a result. The fight that I think is gonna be a heater, no pun intended, or maybe intended, who knows? Tindral. Tindral's gonna be nuts. Tindral's gonna be insane. It might be one of those fights where we're like, oh my god, how do we beat this?
I'm
get it.
Hyped for Tindral. I am hyped for Tindral.
Yep.
And it's for that. I think it's just gonna be, and it's gonna be one of those fights that like we're going to be like doing like we're gonna like get through and be like, all right, like 2 of us made it through one intermission. 2, like you know what I mean? But then there's gonna be we're gonna be like on progression, and like all 10 of us are gonna land after that, and we're gonna be like, all right, let's go.
And that's when Freebird hits and we start going.
Yeah.
We're gonna have that moment. I know this is gonna happen. I hope that you capture this on film, really. But we're gonna have that moment where we have that one pull where he's gonna transition, and you're gonna hear, fucking Red Wing taking off. And like everybody's just gonna be, all right, stay in formation. I'm so looking forward to that fight. It's gonna feel hype. It's gonna feel fucking awesome.
The very first like 10 seconds of Nakuda Fence, when we would all like 5 of us synchronous take off and then surge forward. It's gonna be that. It's gonna be that, but as like 20 people, and it's gonna feel. I'm excited for Tendril. I'm excited. I thought you were gonna say this because you were like the spectacle of it. I'm a little excited for Council of Dreams. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not always a fan of council fights, but this one, it feels silly, goofy, and it weirdly reminds me of the Assembly of Iron. I don't know why.
Yes, in Old War.
But it feels Assembly of Iron, and I'm excited for it because I liked it. I liked Assembly of Iron in Old War. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Council. Those are my top 2, and Tindral and Council of Dreams.
So I don't know if I think I've mentioned this before. I'm not sure, but if you liked Sludge Fist, if you thought Sludge Fist was a difficult but fun boss, if you liked Halandris, thought it was a difficult but fun boss, which I do for both, and particularly like at least for me, if you liked Painsmith and you thought it was a fun but difficult boss, which I very much did. Painsmith, I look back at Painsmith with fondness at how fun that fight felt to beat. You're probably, hopefully, going to be pleased with Fire Act, because the same person that designed those is designing that. So that is going to be a good fight.
I hope so, because I did like those fights. it's much like Zakarn. It's like they were fights that I felt like I had to learn and do something dynamic as a tank,
Yeah.
not every fight has to make tanks feel like they're making plays, but when they do, it feels really good. And like Halandras wasn't like incredible with like tank dynamic, but like there were some times where it was like if me or Barry messed up like the position of a beam, we're
I
screwed.
feel like you were making plays. In
But
particular in the intermission. I feel like the intermissions,
Mm.
the tank role was largely underplayed because it was so easy to get blasted. I really feel that
that's
way.
good. You know what it was for a lot of the tank intermission, because Paladin doesn't do as well on the run. Barry was just eating most of the intermission shots. He was just
Yeah, but
sitting
he
there,
still had to.
he's
You guys still had to
rolling
plan
cooldowns. Yeah.
Mhm.
and formulate a strategy so that he could do that. So
But I agree, like Painsmith, same kind of thing where I like felt cool running weapons out, running them to specific corners. And Sledgefist.
Sludgefest is easy for me to say that I enjoyed it because I wasn't up his butt getting killed.
I feel like anybody who wasn't a melee DPS, like if you were melee DPS, I feel like you didn't have a fun time on Sledgefist, but tanking on Sledgefist felt great. Because it made, I don't know, like that was like one of those fights that like I was rolling cooldowns, my position mattered, my position in relation to the other tank mattered. We like we had to, I think that's like the most communication our raid group has ever had was on Sledgefist, because it's not just like glitch, making calls. It's Greeley has to talk to his chain partner, and Nerf has to talk
Mm.
to his
which was
chain
me
partner,
a
and
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
A
mean? Like,
lot.
That was the meme at that
That was the
point.
beam, yeah. Oh,
because
Yeah.
how you doing?
so it was
I'm
just like
good.
Mm,
but you're
we're
sitting there
going
and you're
this way,
like,
right?
yeah,
All
we're
right.
going this way, we're moving this way. Yeah, or just being like, okay, do you, tanks, we need room. Okay, we can give you guys room. Like, are we out of range of heals? It felt, I don't know, we were communicating a lot. So with all that in mind, if Firac is designed by the same guy,
I
that
believe so.
feels really good.
Supposedly. Obviously, I
Supposedly,
don't know him.
allegedly.
Mm.
So, but trusted sources that I also don't know.
Yeah, he said that he made that fight.
He said he
Oh, he
made it.
said,
Right.
okay. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. No, but all those fights have one thing in common as well, and
fire.
I'm
Sorry, continue.
sort
They're
of actually.
hard.
Yeah.
They're so hard.
Well, I'm sure Sludge Fist farts fire or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe.
They were walls.
But they were fights that you bang your head against, but when you get it, when it clicks, it dies.
Yeah.
Except when you have the berry effect, then it doesn't. But
Well, we'll talk about that.
All
I
right.
know.
No, it's fine.
Well, he destroyed all 4 pillars, and this is week
Oops.
12.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops, all pillars.
Go stand
But
and go die. All right.
yeah, but I love fights there where you can feel that you're making progress. You're not getting there, but you're making progress until it all clicks, and then you're like, no, that like maybe even like the pull before, and you're like, no, this dies next pull, and then it normally does, and there's a sense of accomplishment for those fights that aren't tedious, but they're not just like, oh, I'm just gonna out DPS or I'm gonna out iLvL it.
Yeah.
You can't out gear Sludge Fist if you're standing in the wrong spot and you get nuked from orbit. Or on Halandras, you get knocked off way into who knows where in that middle pit. Or with Painsmith, how one person accidentally put the trap in the wrong spot and we knocked 2 traps went off at once and then we got nuked. Like just, stuff like that. And now that I think about it, yeah, there is fire on a lot of those. Where was the secret fire on Sludge Fist?
It was all the raining debris. That was the fire.
Ah, yes, the debris. The fire was above, and the debris was falling down, and that's
Does
there's
the
the fire.
mechanic count? I think it was shadow damage, but
I don't actually know what the mythic encounter part was. On that.
I can't remember exactly what did it, but I think it was the stomp. Like every time you did the stomp that you had to run out, I think there were soak circles that were close enough for pairs to get them, and if you didn't soak all of them, the raid would take a lot of damage or probably die.
How awful.
Gotcha.
I'm
That
pretty sure they
sounds
were either
terrible.
shadow or fizz damage. It wasn't fire.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
the fire was in Sun Kings. There it is.
Hey, there you go.
That's all the fire.
That makes sense.
There we go.
That makes sense. But so overall, I'm probably, yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say it. I'm more excited for Amirdrassil than I was for Aberrus. Not that to say that I didn't like Aberrus, which if you guys checked out our previous video, you'd know if we liked which raid we liked first. So be sure and check out the previous episode in our podcast.
Yeah, go check it out.
Link is in the description down below. But you're like, yep. Did we plug it enough? Not enough. There needs to be another plug before we end.
All right,
I'll make a note of it.
Yep, okay.
But I'm excited for Amirdrassil more so than Aberrus. There's some fun encounters.
Same.
I'm excited to see the Druids of the Flame come back, and I'm excited to see how they incorporated the Emerald Dream. Like, it felt like, this was a logical part of the story. It wasn't just like, oh, by the way, we're doing this thing. So there's a little bit of continuity that's kind of working there. But that's our side. That's half of season 3 with the raid. Now we have season 3 proper of Mythic Plus.
Mythic.
And it goes all down here from here.
And thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll be doing Mythic Plus. That's
Yes.
what
I am going to be pushing as high as I can, within reason.
I'm trying so hard to stay positive about it.
Me
I'm trying
too,
to,
but
I'm like,
Hey, I'm just saying they
haven't done the
came out and said
dungeon.
that Tides is going to be a whole different dungeon.
we
Could be a
That's-
whole lot better, or it could be a whole lot worse.
It does.
You're
it
like,
does-
no, it can't be worse.
From
Oh,
what
no.
I've seen, it looks better, but it's like, I'm like, man. Oh, when it came to Everbloom, so I was doing time walks this week, and I got into Everbloom, and I was like, cool, great, I get to check out the route. They took out the freaking plant hydra before the first boss, so
Yep.
that's not a problem, I guess.
Did
Uh,
they?
Yeah.
It wasn't in there when I was in there with Twisted. He was at somebody was in the group was asking about it.
Which
but
is not like-
the problem. The problem with that is if you did Mists of Pandaria Time Walk, it also doesn't match the Keystone.
Yeah,
that
but
we got.
prior to this, it was in there, like that existed.
No, I know, but what I'm trying to say is the current Mists Time Walk for Jade
Is
Temple
no,
doesn't
I get
match.
what you're saying.
So
So it could be
look,
totally
I
different.
don't want that Hydra there. Get him out of there.
Yeah.
Just hit him
I'm
with
ju-
the
I'm just-
insecticide.
I'm just saying for things like
That's
Throne of the
the second.
Tides and Everbloom, I'm giving them just a little bit more leniency of like, I haven't seen the dungeon yet, but like, tall does
Say it. Yep.
Tall does come on. Waycrest Manor is still gonna be really freaking tight. Like, that's Waycrest Manor is probably gonna feel like Olden to me, where it's just like compact. So
Yeah.
I'll have to go full dwarf.
Sorry,
Get
I
out
zoned
the
there for a s-
transmog pad.
I'm not looking forward to more than a few of them.
Yeah, it's just
so-
unfortunate, but
I don't
So which if you have to pick one dungeon that you're not looking forward to the most, meaning we get our 20 portal and it's my Grimrail Depot, we never go back. I say
Top
no, we're
one?
not doing this.
all right. So we haven't done Throne of the Tides or Everbloom, so I'm not gonna pick either of those because I haven't seen them in the
Okay.
Mythic Plus setting. So I
Fine.
think that those are fairly off
it's not
the
my
table.
choice anyway.
I
Sure.
know. God damn. I want to say Waycrest Manor. I think that's gonna be like my 20 that I'm like, screw this place. I ain't doing it. I don't like doing
And
it.
is it because of the triad?
No, it's cramped. I don't like being cramped as a tank. I don't like it because
That is definitely a dungeon, like you said.
it's
We're gonna have to put the pad out.
it's gonna be so cramped, and it's not even like it's gonna be like, oh man, it's Sanguine week. Come on, guys. We gotta like
sanguine on those stairs going downstairs.
on that, on just any of the
Oh,
hallways.
I just realized you have to pull that one sister that you would go invis for in Awakened for season 4. There was the one, like, so it's just before you go down to the couple at the bottom.
Yeah.
You would go and you would hit the obelisk there, and you invis that basically that second to last room.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the one like the head sister, the one that would spawn after you got a percentage of
Oh
trash,
yeah.
that would pop up down there. And then there was the two briar witches that would, like, the ghostly looking ones that you could just flat out avoid with Awakened. Ugh, I don't want to pull those because literally you steps, turn around, she's right there. You have to fight her on the steps with like this much room.
Yeah. It's the witches, it's the compactness, it's the fact that the route changes every week. If they're keeping it the same that they did in
No,
BFA.
No.
They did
They're
away with
all
the
doors
doors
are
thing.
open.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God. Oh.
Thank God.
Oh, that's the best news I've
Seriously.
heard.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But still, compactness and those witches, I'm not keen on it. I'm not thrilled about it. But like other than that, like that's the only one that I feel that strongly about.
No, that's fair.
But
Well, at least for that one, marksman is completely. I'm always going to do stuff through a marksman lens.
I'm-
Marksman's completely different than then, so I'm hoping that it won't be as bad for me as it was in BFA.
I mean I look at everything through like a tanking lens. So like
Mm.
if Glitch comes forward and says what I think he's gonna say, I'll be like, I don't really care that much.
All right, let's hear it.
Get me
Which
out
one
of
is it?
AD now. Get me out of Atal Dazar
That's-
yesterday.
And that's my
Move
second
it
choice.
along.
But I can handle a tall
God.
Dazar because I have so much elbow room. I have so much room. It's such an overdone dungeon.
If we have to, I don't think you have to. I think they nerfed. They nerfed this a lot. But if you have to do any sort of snapping in Atal Dazar,
Yeah.
I give up. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, no.
And it's not even because the dungeon's hard. First off, at least if it's similar tuning, the dungeon is hard. Rezan slaps. Those stupid little Saurid, they slap.
Mm-hmm.
Everything slaps and everything has hands in that dungeon. Even the pack they nerfed in front of Volcall still has hands because it still has one of those reanimated royal guards or whatever.
Guards. Yeah.
Yep.
And then, so everything slaps, and then you have a boss that you can fall asleep to. We have the first boss of Vortex Pinnacle reincarnated as a gold priestess over there on the other side. Nothing happens except, oops, your toenail hit a gold orb, you're dead. Because you fell asleep. Great. And then Yasma's like,
I forgot about her, to be honest with you.
Everybody did. And then it's easy to forget her mechanics. And then you fall asleep and you die. It's a boring boss. And then you get to
I'm
Yasma.
not looking. Yeah. I was saying I'm not looking for Yasma on Tyrannical.
Oh,
It's not the fact that she nukes you from orbit if you get hit by one of those to begin with. Forget her damage on the tank. Forget that entirely, even though that's crippling. Yeah, why not? Like, yeah, that.
About it.
But like, you have all the. If you get hit by any of these spiders at that point, you're done. And on top of that, she just has an obscene amount of health. And then, oh, by the way, she has 30% more health. Have fun. That fight, the longer it lasts, is just absolutely miserable. It's not even fun. So what I'm telling you guys is, when we get our 20 portal, we're doing it on a fortified week.
I will say, when it comes to some of these, we're going back to a lot of these dungeons with way more fleshed out kits as well. So like Atal Dazar, yeah, absolutely awful. Remember doing it, but like now for Yasma at the very least, I might be able to clear out a lot of those spiders just bubbled. Just bubble, run through them, just get them off the map. You guys don't have to do too much. They spawn right at the door anyway, or most of them do, I think, if I'm remembering the mechanic correctly. Or they spawn next to her.
They spawn close to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
crap. I thought they spawned.
Track at you.
I thought they spawned way closer.
It's fine because you could still kind of do that if we do the correct movement, right? Of all being clustered and doing like a.
Never. I'm standing in the corner away from everyone.
Well, we'll be doing
know.
that, just all of us. Something like that. I don't know.
I'm just saying we have more options of like
Yeah.
ability. So who knows? Some of these stuff it might hit harder, but also we might have more answers and we might have to use more of our kit. But Waycrest, yeah, not thrilled about. Um, what do you guys? Well, Greeley, what do you?
Oh yeah, I haven't answered the question, have I?
Yeah, I was about to say
Um,
like, what are we really looking forward to?
well, first off, I have to say this is a special season pool to not say the one we were least likely to go and have fun in was going to be anything in Dawn of the Incarnates. Like
Okay.
how we just like, oh, by the way, that's in there in the middle too. Um, if I had to pick one that I'm not looking forward to, it's probably a Tall Dazar as well. I don't want to just piggyback off of what you said,
No,
but
please go ahead.
mine is definitely like Hunter is one of those specs that can really help you. For example, on Razan, I can meme some of that stuff. Like I can misdirect you to do the snapping if that's a thing. I can run in front of the royal guard to pull them over there, feign death. You guys run past. Like there are things that I add to the group to help deal with that, but ugh,
There's even more
I'm
than
I'm not. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a ton more
Flare
than that,
the
and then
stealth guys.
yeah, with Flare
Remove summon
and
rages. I could keep going.
I forget there was something else I could do on the priestess. There's something that marksman could do, and I don't remember what it was.
Remove golden claws from
Yes.
her.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Basically, make
Yeah.
the tank more bored. But whatever.
But even with all that, that I bring to the table, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it is tuned favorably. I'm not saying to make these things easy, but like I find it very frustrating when you go in there with a 488 item level and you get tapped by something and like, oh, you made one mistake and you're nuked.
Can we make it easy? Please. Just saying.
All right. Can we make it easy, please? We just want the portal and we'll never bother. We'll never darken your
Never.
doorstep again.
Never.
Until
I
the
will
next
take
time
an
you add
increase
some.
in difficulty in like Darkheart, which I'm very much looking forward to. will take
I
an
am
increase in
looking forward to
difficulty there
Darkheart.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
Fatal Dazar is easier. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Ian, get on it.
This is again, and this is all coming from we have no idea. We
Yeah,
yeah.
we could go into like 10 keys and be like, yo, Tall Dazar's mad easy. Like we just blasted a 10. We just 3-chested it. Like let's roll. So a lot of these could. I mean, me and Greeley did Dawn of the Infinite Mythic, like
Mhm.
just base Mythic yesterday. We crushed it. We
Yeah.
annihilated that play. They nerfed the living crap out of Mythic 0. I highly recommend going and running it today if you
By the way, if you guys are watching, good way to farm flight stones, by the way, if you need that, and some sort of crest as well.
rep for Sidormi if you're still working on that.
No.
Excellent.
No.
No. I just got exalted yesterday.
I'm not working on it.
That
I
was
stopped when it came out.
that, the minute it
But
came out.
but the
I-
bar, it's not full.
The bar's not full.
You feel like you can miss me
Leave
with
it.
that. Forget it.
Leave it.
They're gone.
What's she gonna do? Chase me in time?
I like it. We're all excited.
All of a sudden,
for
you get a knock at your door.
Yeah. Well,
Hey.
guys, I'll be right back. Sorry, Darby.
No,
Your
buddy.
rep isn't very high here. We've been out for a while.
We're all only excited for Darkheart Thick.
No.
I'm excited for Everbloom.
Everyone, okay.
Look, I'll be honest. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just say Everbloom would be my pick, but Darkheart is probably third on my particular list. Everbloom it checks all the boxes for me. There's large trash packs. There is a boss that I can potentially get cleave on. That's nice. We don't have to worry about the spider, I believe. I think they took that out.
Yeah,
No
it's
spider.
gone.
Which who does that fight anyway? I think I've only done it twice in my life, by the way.
I think they
Uh,
changed the mechanics for the images before third boss as well.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
that way
yeah.
I don't have to worry about Dragon Breath, which is
Gotcha.
lovely.
That's ideal. Yeah.
That was my least favorite part Everbloom, to be honest. It was
Mm.
just those one mobs. That's
And the
it.
fact that it's open. I appreciate the open dungeons. The Waycrest Manors, the Toldagors, the Siege of Borealis fights are or like they're fun to look at. Like the dungeons are fun to look at. There's stuff going on.
They're cool conceptually.
Yeah, but when you get in there and you pull something from a mile away, or you feel like you're trying to damage in this little box,
Yeah.
yeah, those are not going to be fun. And if Ian decides to ever watch this podcast, he won't. But if he does, never put either of those two in the dungeon rotation. Tolda Gore, fun to look at? No.
Nope.
Siege of Borealis, fun to look at? No.
Don't do it.
No. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
So
Pass.
that's mine. I'd say probably Everbloom is my pick.
Honestly, I'm looking forward to Dawn other than Morchi. It's just that. It's just Morchi kind of casting up.
He's looking
Power.
forward to Morchi
I am looking forward to Morchi.
I'm not.
for a
I'm
different
not.
reason.
That's for
Just
personal
keep her.
reasons.
I'm good.
I just want her to be mean to me. Is that too much to ask? I
Well,
just
Oh, she's gonna be mean to us
she's
on a
gonna
20.
be-
Don't
she's gonna
worry.
be mean to you,
That's
yeah. They
That's
they
fine.
buffed her like occurrence rate of casting the tank attack, by the way. So have fun with that.
Oh, good. Well, that's fine.
That's exactly what he wants. That's all that
Okay, yeah,
matters.
that's all I
She's gonna
want.
do her damage to him
I just need
more often.
more damage to me, please.
I'm good.
Mommy Morchi.
I
Alright,
I look forward to engaging on that fight and then hitting the ground and getting a sandwich while you and Kapow hurry the
You're like,
along.
I'll just carries you through.
Yep.
Is there
I
any?
think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is there any gear that you guys are like gunning for that like
Raid
maybe
or
like
M
coming
plus?
old? M plus. All right, I guess both.
I got a couple
Yes.
of things.
I
I got
was
one
thinking-
thing that I'm. Go ahead.
I was thinking more for M plus for like if you've seen anything that's like from a previous dungeon that you're like, hey, be on the lookout for this.
Yeah, yeah. I got one thing that I hate that I'm looking at it and it's OP. I
Mhm,
don't
mhm,
technically I don't really want it, but also it's so good.
mhm.
Balefire Branch from Waycrest.
Mm,
That
Yeah.
trinket is insane, and I don't know if it's gonna be good for Og, but I know it's gonna be good for Boomy. So
Mhm.
I imagine.
and when you
it'll be good for Og, too.
inevitably main both of them, yeah, it'll be great.
Ugh. We'll see. We'll see what.
That just
happens.
means more keys for us to practice in. Oh no.
I do have. In the middle of this podcast, though, I have come up with a good reason to play Og, though.
All right.
All right.
There's
Okay.
something. And that is, I believe it was Zaft that mentioned that we're going into these keys with more of a fleshed out kit, and so we'll be able to see it from a different perspective. And it hit me, what if a entirely different class perspective? That could be interesting.
Yeah.
And that already made me go, Og maybe might actually be more fun because I've already done all those keys as, smelly BFA boomkin. Why not Og?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That might
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
have
fair
pushed push the bar in that direction just a little bit. Yeah.
Glad I could help.
Thanks.
Fill in the rep bar just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So Dormy would be proud.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
I have one trinket. I'm gonna be killing Dios a lot. I have a
Mhm.
feeling. Be mirrors. That's
Oh,
the-
yeah.
It is so strong right now for marksman. And now that marksman is A tier is what people are calling. Not A plus, not S, but we're not F or needs,
Needs developer
resuscitation.
attention.
Exactly. We're not down there now. So I'm excited to get that trinket in my hand and see what we can do with it. It is a 3-minute cooldown, which doesn't line up with True Shot, but every other True Shot I'm gonna be popping off with just an absolute crap ton of main stat. And I'm gonna have more mastery in my build just in general. I'm gonna have nukes from orbit known as my rapid fire shots when I get my tier gear. And the front half, by the way, of when we go and take on Iridicron, marksman arguably might be the literal best spec for that entire fight because you always stay in my 80 or my careful aim zone, and also my hunter buff that we with hunter's mark, which I'm going to have to do a better job of putting that on bosses because I didn't last night when we did some Mythic Plus keys. But
Yep, that's right.
I'm like, somebody
You're
tell
doing
me.
20s.
I'm like doing 20s. I'm like, I have to use the buff. I have to use the buff. But I'm going to be spending a lot of time in Dawn, and I'm actually okay with that. Obviously, as a um, mount hunter, I
Yeah.
want the quantum chance because that would be much more favorable than trying to do the dungeon again over and over and over for the other ones. But I don't know. It's something new, but it's also the only thing from Dragonflight, so that's kind of interesting. So it's actually the story that we're currently dealing with versus all the others are, stuff we've already dealt with in the past. So.
I'm gonna try and push for some Galakron's falls very early on, so I can be disappointed about another scale.
Hey, I don't know. I'm just saying. I saw you get a scale last night,
Yeah,
so
and I told Greeley, I said I got it last night. This is the only scale I'm gonna see until the very end of season 3. We're gonna be running like a 20 Galakron's fall to get a portal, like to get a portal for somebody else. We've already gotten our portals. It's gonna be like, oh, somebody else wants a portal as well. We're gonna be doing it, and then it's gonna drop. That's the last time. That's the next time I'm seeing that scale. Um, with that in mind, the only thing that I'm like, I really should be gunning for is where is it? Spiked counterweight from Blackrock Holds.
Oh,
I
oh, that
think
is
that'll
Spracklo,
be a
yeah.
big haste out of that.
Yeah.
There's a couple ones that have like some good, but I think spiked counterweight might be the one to really gun for.
What's
Yep.
interesting for marksman is that the two BIS trinkets
Hmm.
you use for Mythic Plus or for AoE and single target, which for me is not normal. Like the beacon is great for AoE because you're going to hit more targets, do more damage with it. But, on single target it kind of falls off. We were able to use it in such a way to kind of abuse it, so to speak, or for me with when I have high amounts of crit, if it does double damage, it's probably worth it versus, if it doesn't crit.
I mean,
But
it was useful to like clear out and be like, okay, we
yeah,
have totem going up on
it was
last boss.
definitely a
Cracking it.
situational,
Yeah.
like it was like A plus tier situationally and probably like B tier the rest of the time. But I gotta say, a nuke from orbit every 2.5 minutes, you gotta love it.
Yeah. It's also just like it's a fun trinket to do. It
Yeah,
feels cool to
I
use.
so speaking of that, glitch actually, I won the role in raid, and then I actually give it to you, and then you were like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah, you
yeah,
did.
so because I was like, I'm not gonna use it, so glitch got the second highest roll, so boom, go over to glitch, and like by the time the night was over, he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, fine, and I never unequipped it after that.
Well, I'm glad I did that because that was pre-AUG,
Yeah,
so I wouldn't have used
that's
it.
true. Yeah,
So, and I wasn't
it
gonna
worked
use it
out.
as Boomkin except for those exact scenarios that you
Mhm.
were using it. So, might as well have gone to you, right?
Yeah, I
This
mean it worked
tier,
out.
this tier is gonna be weird for trinkets for me. There's a lot of talk of doing double on use on both the classes that I'm thinking of playing. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean,
So I've
thinking
done it.
about thinking about a mirror, and at the end of the mirror, you bail Fire Branch into the end of your cooldowns on Boomy. That sounds tasty,
Whew.
or something along
Okay,
those lines, you know. But
forget my nukes from orbit. Like, let's look at
Yeah.
yours.
but also
Dropping moons.
Solar Beacon, you know, Belorilos. If you haven't looked at Raid Loot, check that one out for Int. Looking pretty good, looking pretty fun. That one's also on use, and double on use with an AOE one seems okay. I don't know,
Mhm.
just depends on what drops, I guess. But double
Right.
on use is always a little finicky. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I haven't looked too closely at loot for raid loot.
So there's, realistically speaking, there's probably a trinket that most of our melee, I think it is, melee and agi users will want, which is that augury, whatever, augury of the flame. The
Mhm.
very rare one from Firac.
Yep.
You, Zaft, you probably are going to be looking at that heart
The heart.
verse first. That one's really strong. It got tuned recently, so if it's not strong anymore, then my bad. But it looked good. It looked okay on the PTR. People were looking to use it, and obviously the cheat death, right? That's gonna be strong. Also, hey, did you guys see the change? Tangent. Did you guys see the change that they did to like rare drops where they don't eat a spot anymore?
Yes. There's like if you're gonna get 3 drops, you get 3 drops, but those very rares are like in addition to. And I think that is a good middle like compromise.
I like
If you're gonna have these very rare items, at least they should be like in addition to. You also receive.
I'm hoping that made it, and I think it did. I didn't see any change that they would have taken it away, but never know.
We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll find out when we get a bunch of
when we get all those very rare drops
from Naimu.
Yep. For me.
Nimue, whatever you call that boss.
Nimue.
Yeah,
I have
that's
no idea.
Amirdrassil.
That thing. Well, I mean, there is the baller. Like they've just been adding an icon to every single tier now. So we do have the new icon that everybody will probably want for the stat stick. Yeah. So that'll be. I'm hoping we get. That's going to be a great trinket for progression if we can get it on a bunch of people. Just because it's just pure stats. There is literally no drawback. You can't outplay yourself up here trying to when you're using it. It just gives you more stats, and more stats are a great thing, particularly right now when there is such a big increase of the item level. Because we instead of 26, it was 26, and now it's 39 item level jump. Yeah, so it's like a tier and a half jump basically. Yeah. And then with the whole crafting gear can't be max item level now. It's pretty close, but not quite there. So the raid gear or high mythic plus gear for us is going to be definitely important, and it's nice that we have a good mix of raid versus mythic plus gear, at least for our like 5, 6, 7 people that we often do keys with.
Yeah.
It appears so. There's a good, nice, healthy mix for everyone.
I've actually been thinking about that. It's entirely possible we'll have 2 groups running this season.
Great. Good. That is awesome.
Because we have Barry back in the fold. We have Tanner that's able to heal. We have what I'm assuming is going to be a powerhouse of Nerf able to DPS. Like that's already a solid foundation for a group right there.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's just those 3 people, and we have the like 5 + 2 that we had during season 2, that already makes its own group.
Yeah.
Of powerful specs and good people playing them. So that's looking positive.
That's exactly right.
And Bear's gonna be balanced, right? Or is he planning on rolling tank?
He's gonna play.
He'll do whatever the heck he wants that week.
Barry will do it all. Looking at you, Barry. You're listening right now, and you're gonna do it all. Oh, that's right. He was playing Feral last time I saw him.
Speaking of Feral, I just want to point out that last, whatever you kind of weight you put into these tier lists, but Feral was right next to Marksman, and I was like, what kind of Twilight Zone is this? Like Feral is fairly sought after, and for the health of Feral, shout out to anybody who's still playing Feral, Pinoy on his druid. Like I'm glad to see these classes that are perennially down here. I'm not saying they're S tier, A+, whatever, but they're up there, and like more people are gonna play it just because they're like, oh look, that one is actually good, so I'm gonna play it or at least give it a shot.
Yeah, things that haven't felt viable before are feeling viable again. Excellent. That's good to hear.
Is Rend gonna be doing anything with us randomly?
I don't know.
Maybe. Because I think
I have no idea.
Yeah,
she's the only feral main I know.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, the single feral rejoices.
Yeah.
Main at least.
Well, that's not true. Black Coffee as well, but I haven't seen him around as much. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I promise you guys before we ended our podcast that we were gonna help Glitch figure out what he was playing. Well, I don't think we need to do the poll now. We can still do the poll though, because polls are fun.
Leave a comment. Tell them what to play.
Please do. But I think we already kind of pushed the bar, just inadvertently,
I think
a little ever so slightly towards
that realization. Really helped. Yeah.
Like
Uh,
if nothing else, you have a couple of weeks before it, unless you just get like baller drops from raid or something
yeah,
like that. Like you have a couple weeks to get in there, feel tyrannical, feel fortified, and be like, this is a completely different ball game. Bringing your evoker in there versus your boomy or tanking or doing whatever. So we do have a nice little bit of wiggle room with that too.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah,
guess I just don't want to gear tax too much. You know what I'm saying?
I mean that's fair.
And I'm not
I
gonna
get
do it
that.
in our raid.
That's fair.
So
I don't care if it happens in Mythic Plus. If you
I'm just
roll
saying
up and
another
you're like,
person
hey, I
who
want to try something
wears
different.
mail. I'll take that.
that's true.
like if you want to try different things in Mythic Plus, even as we're still like building stuff up, I know
Oh yeah.
I know for raid it's a different thing because you set a precedent of like, hey, like
Yeah,
you show up to raid, you pick you pick a spec, please.
yeah. I mean, it's one of
Uh,
my own rules, right?
exactly, yeah,
Rules.
no, and I know and that's why you've been like
Yeah.
about it. Um, but I mean,
And even though we
if
sometimes have people that break it, right? Because they're having the crisis I'm having right now.
yeah,
I
Mhm.
don't want
and
to be. I don't want to put them through like, oh well, no, you play the spec you don't want to play, but I want to play both. So.
I think there's an understanding in our raid group that like even like if you show up and you're playing a spec, like let's say you show up and you're playing prop paladin, and then like 2 weeks in, I'm just like, hey, you know what, fuck that, I'm doing something else. Like that's different than being like, hey, glitch, man, I don't know, I'm
Yeah,
dying to
exactly.
things left and right. I feel like I'm not contributing to the group in a way that is meaningful, and I feel like I could do that better on a prop warrior.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, hey man, if you're gonna feel more comfortable, but if I'm just like, this, okay, I'll be a marksman hunter, okay, now I'll be, the frost mage, all right, now I'll be this, that's totally different.
Yeah.
And I mean, uh, I understand is what I'm saying. But
Makes
I don't think anybody's gonna see what you're going through as you being flippant.
yeah.
True.
No
That's
pancakes
fair.
here. No flip floppity.
And if they do, I'll fist fight them.
With the
Makes me
segues.
think of yeah.
Segue to this.
Mhm.
Segue to these hands.
Well, so that kind of reminded me of the, in a way, an opposite, but yet the same. Where the very beginning of BFA, when Marksman got flipped on its head, we needed extra Azurite traits that weren't available yet, like extra rows of them. There were a couple of raid nights where I'm like, hey, glitch, like I gotta sit.
Can't do it.
Like I can't do it. I until I get this figured out, I can't do it. I think I even tried to go Beast Mastery on Zool, if I remember right. And I tried it for a couple pulls and I was like, no, I'm gonna have to figure this
What
out.
a,
And what?
what a boss to try Beastmaster on, where that's like every other boss is like your pets are just on the boss. That's the one
Mm-hmm.
ad fight, and you're just like, this'll show
That
him.
one. Yeah. Well,
Freaking
unfortunately,
scuttling
Marksman was
across from
pretty
ads.
weird with everything. Yeah. But at least no, at least we will never have to do that again. We don't have to worry about Azurite traits. We won't have to worry about
Right,
your kit
Ian?
not being finished. Right.
Right, Ian?
Right.
Right.
I'm glad we didn't have
So
to talk about that one. We just kind of
like
everybody we just all got it. All right, here we go. This is the meme. Let's go.
the hive mind was like,
Yep.
yes,
Yep.
yes. But I think that we honestly I always say I'm excited for this. I'm ready for this. But we are in a really good position as a guild, not just us as a collective three, but as a guild to progress. And we are actually, I'd say, our foundation is better now than it has last maybe couple of tiers to bring more people back into the fold.
Yeah.
Because we have players that
That's
haven't
happening.
played with us since Legion,
Oh, that's
and like,
happening. All right.
and yeah, so like we've already had this foundation where we've continued to do content, but we have this fun raid that's exciting, more drops, people seeing really seeing Mythic Plus for the first time since they dabbled in it in Legion, but even as a guild, we didn't do too much like Legion like Mythic Plus content.
Yeah.
And now, or at least I didn't. Maybe that's a better way to say it. But you have all these people that are coming back, And it's an exciting time for Drexit, let alone for World of Warcraft with new game speculation for new expansions, Season of Discovery, the Classic Plus, just Diablo 4. Just people are what the game that I'm calling Arc-like Spanner.
That's right, Arclight Spanner out on
Yeah.
Android devices now.
Yes. QR code here. I'll edit it and post right there. But it's just a great time for Drexit people coming and playing Blizzard games, and I'm excited for the community aspect, to see people, to talk to people we haven't talked to in a long time, see how they're progressing, like IRL, and then bringing that and having some fun in game, killing some bosses, and it's just 10.2 is going to be an amazing time, and I am just so excited. Like, there's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, absolutely. All of us have played this game for a long time, and I think we've seen rises and falls of different empires, and it's nice to be here in this guild at this time, and um and where you can see like a drop off sometimes, and you can see you can see the end of the road at some point, for, or at least me personally, like I could see the end of the road for some guilds and previous experiences that I've had. Or you see issues. This is at this point, I'm like looking forward at the horizon and knowing that it's like, no, this group is coming with me. I'm not.
Mhm.
This is not a solo adventure that I'm just departing and just hanging out with these people. This is an adventure we will be embarking on together. This is a collective, and that feels real good to
Mhm.
be in this game and to be doing that. I know this got really sentimental towards the end of this episode. I'm sorry. Uh,
Nah, keep it coming. It's the good
but
stuff.
no, it's a great time, and that's not just like, wow, Blizzard's great at making a game. I think that it's the people that you make, that you're with, that also make the game, and I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah, and I
Same.
mean, it's definitely, this expansion has helped. Like
Yeah.
all the things that they've added to
Yeah.
this expansion, the customizations, the group things that are going on in the game. Maybe they're not for everybody. Totally get that, but it is bringing in like the hype. Maybe it's just hype. Maybe it is. We don't know
Yeah,
because we haven't seen 11.0 yet.
it's
But
true.
like
Yeah.
there's all this stuff that's bringing people back in communities across the games. Like I've seen people be on D4 right now because they're excited for a new expansion sometime next year. And just it's an exciting time to play a Blizzard game, and we're just on the end of the BlizzCon. Or I should say not end, because there's still information that's coming out. It's kind of the reason why we didn't want to dive into it deeper, because there is still information coming
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
it's just a great time to log in and play World of Warcraft, play Diablo 4, play Arc like Spanner, all that fun stuff.
Hearthstone.
So
Thanks,
oh yeah,
Thanks, man.
I keep putting the meme one before the actual game.
Like it's a completely different thing. It's like Warcraft Rumble or something. I have it on my phone. I like downloaded
Say
it.
it with me. It's Arc like Spanner,
It's
and
not.
that's it.
It's
Well, so
Warcraft
for you
Rumble.
guys, yeah, I know, yeah.
Rumble.
But that's what I called it last night or the night before. I couldn't remember what the game was called. I'm like, Spanner.
The glitch knew what you were talking
But
about.
everybody in Discord knew exactly what I was talking about. So who's the real troll?
You got
Me.
all right. You're
That's all right.
it's glitch. All right. Asked and
That's
answered.
fair.
Leave a
Hey.
comment. Who's the real troll?
Let us know down below in the comments.
Let
Who
us know.
really trolls?
Like, comment, and subscribe to Mr. Eggplant. That's our third plug. Take that before the podcast.
Hey, we did it. We got our quota
Got
in.
it. That's right.
Well, do I
Check.
have to end the stream if you guys have already done it for me? I said stream again, but you know what I mean.
You can do
Podcast.
whatever you want. This is your
It's
channel,
your
baby.
channel.
That's fair. You've empowered me to end my own
Yeah.
show.
Go ahead.
I'll allow
Perfect.
you to. Yeah.
Well, I
might
appreciate
interject.
that.
I might interject at some point, but go ahead.
Oh, that's all
Yeah.
good. But I guess with everything, there has to be an end for this podcast. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. This has been so much fun. We've been kind of doing this like last minute
on Monday nights before we push it out the next week. We probably can't do that this next coming week because Monday nights are the nights that we habitually get keys in at the very end of the week for everybody.
No,
Because
Monday
everybody
night
comes in.
keys.
Yes.
No, Andreas
so-
mentioned this earlier.
Yeah.
Seriously?
We will have to figure that one out.
Alright, I'll get out.
You're like, yeah, I'm out of here. But I honestly, I hope that we will continue to push content. Maybe we don't do it as fast as we did in Avarice, but I'm excited to share all of our experience with you guys. I will be streaming our raids live as much as I can, at least, because I will be coming into raid usually a little bit later, just because of driving, traffic, that sort of thing. But it is a great time to be a Drex member, and I'm excited to complete the Amirdrassil raid, work on Season 3, and we have a lot more content out for you guys. And please, I've plugged it, it's meme plugs, but this is honest. Please shoot us an email. The email will be found down below. Leave us a comment. Let me know what you guys would like to see talked about. As you can see, we can talk about a lot of stuff. We can go on tangents. We can have so much fun.
Not shut up.
Yes, we love to hear the sound of our voices, apparently. But
If you
this
want us
is
to shut up, the Patreon has a special tier.
down there. It's called the Shut Up and Take Your Money.
That's right.
For
But
$10 a month, we will stop.
$10. That's a steal.
A month? And if they don't, we just start back up again.
I don't know. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that give more than $10 a month for things and they don't get this much content. Just saying.
That's right. It's good value.
Just saying. Definitely. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And they've already said it, but consider subscribing if you haven't already, and follow me over at Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Eggplant. There will be giveaways and stuff like that through Twitch drops, that sort of thing. I would encourage you guys to at least come get your rewards. There's going to be a TCG mount here next week? Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Starting tomorrow.
Because Dottie ends today,
Today.
and I think it's the white camel tomorrow, which is another TCG mount that I don't have. So always a good thing. But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye, guild members that have never seen my face in the last 7 years, and
Yeah.
I know what I look like. Bye.
Holy shit!
Oh my God, that's Glitch.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
know.
I'm definitely excited for that. But I appreciated them.
Whoa. Your
What?
mic is your mic transformed. Did you hear that?
What?
Is it just me? You good? Start
Is
speaking
it
again.
me?
Me?
All right, no, you're right. For some reason, it got super loud for me.
Okay.
Not for me. I don't know.
We good now?
Yeah, you sound fine now. I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry I just brought you to a screeching halt.
No,
You
what?
don't have time.